A very good morning. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. I'm Smriti Rastogi with breakfast news. In the next half an hour, we will get you all the news from national, international, business and sports front. But before getting you all those details, a quick look at the top headlines. Heavy rains in Mumbai. Schools and colleges closed today. 2 minors among 3 killed. Navy helicopters on standby. NDRF on alert. Chief Minister asks people to stay indoors. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit China for BRICS summit in first week of September. Prime Minister to also visit Myanmar for bilateral summit. Tax collection for first month since GST implementation exceeds Finance Ministry's estimates. Rupees 92,283 crores collected in July. Nighttime curfew in Houston as it battles the impact of Hurricane Harvey. 20 people dead. US President visits Texas, says storm damage will be a costly proposition. And boxer Gaurav Biduri reaches semi-finals of the World Boxing Championships at Hamburg, becomes 4th Indian at event to secure medal. Torrential rains accompanied by strong winds have caused havoc in Mumbai, bringing life in the city to a standstill. Navy helicopters are on standby to meet any eventuality, and the NDRF has been put on high alert. Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis visited the State Disaster Management Control Room and took stock of the situation. The State Disaster Management Authority says there is expected to be less rain today as compared to Tuesday. Suburban train services on the Central Railway's main line resumed this morning after remaining suspended for nearly 20 hours.
अटक गए हैं बारिश की वजह से, कोई गाड़ी नहीं है, कोई ठिकाना नहीं है, कुछ भी नहीं है।
मेरा मम्मी भी फंस गए इधर, उनको घाटकों पर लेके जाने में। मैं कुलाबा से आ रहा हूँ, पूरा सब जगह भाईकला में पानी भरा हुआ है, सब जगह पानी भरा हुआ है। अभी पानी जब तक अब कम नहीं होता तब तक कैसे जाएंगे? कुछ नहीं कर सकते, गाड़ी अभी रिस्क नहीं ले सकते कि पानी में गाड़ी डाल नहीं सकते अभी।
यहाँ पे हर साल का तकलीफ यही है कि हर साल यहाँ पे पानी पूरा भर जाता है।
Torrential rain accompanied by strong winds causing havoc in Mumbai, bringing life in the city to a standstill. People were seen wading through chest-high waters and vehicles crawled through the flooded roads. The city witnessed 298 millimeters of rainfall on Tuesday, the highest in a day in August since 1997. People's anger directed towards the administration for not taking timely measures.
इतना बारिश हो रहा है, वो गटर का सब पानी भी नहीं सब भरेला इधर। कुछ काम नहीं किया है लगता है। बारिश और भी ये देखो, ये बारिश भी इतनी बड़ी बड़ी बारिश आ रहा है, बहुत तकलीफ हो रहा है आदमी लोग को।
Navy helicopters are on standby to meet any eventuality in the view of heavy rains, while the NDRF too has been put on alert. Flood rescue teams and divers are also ready for deployment. The Met Office has issued warnings saying that the heavy rains will continue till this afternoon. IMD issued a red warning till this evening for the city and adjoining areas.
Predictions were for last 1 week that the central India, that includes Gujarat, Maharashtra, Orissa, MP, all these states are going to get very good rainfall, and that is getting realized. And next 2 to 3 days, this activity is likely to continue. Thereafter, we will be able to see the reduction in the rainfall activity over a period of time.
3 persons, including 2 minors, were killed in 2 house collapse incidents in suburban Vikhroli in the wake of torrential rains. Patients at the civic hospital shifted to higher floors as water flooded into wards. The state government issued an advisory telling citizens to step out of their homes only if necessary. The Mumbai police has also asked people to avoid waterfronts due to the high tide. Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis visited the State Disaster Management Control Room to oversee the situation.
बड़े पैमाने पर वाटर लॉगिंग है। लोगों से हमारी अपील ये है कि लोग बहुत आवश्यक काम हो तभी घर से बाहर निकले, नहीं तो लोग बाहर नहीं निकले। जो लोग ऑफिसेस में हैं उनको भी हमारी ये सलाह होगी, भले ही ऑफिसर्स को हमने ये कहा है कि जल्दी छुट्टी दी जाए, लेकिन उनको भी हमारी ये सलाह होगी कि हम ट्रैफिक के अलर्ट्स दे रहे हैं, उन अलर्ट्स को देखते हुए ही वो ऑफिस से भी बाहर निकले।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi also called the Maharashtra Chief Minister and offered all central assistance. He appealed to everyone to stay safe and take necessary precautions. President Ramnath Kovind also took to social media to express his concern and assured people that best steps are being taken to tackle the situation. Meanwhile, train services in the city are slowly limping back to normal, with the first train chugging out of the Church Gate station around midnight last night. Schools and colleges in Mumbai will remain closed today in view of the warning. The Met Department said that Mumbai recorded rain of 65 millimeters in just 3 hours, adding that it was the heaviest downpour since the 2005 deluge. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, the government has issued moderate flood warnings in 11 states in view of the heavy to very heavy rainfall forecast by the Met Department in the next 48 to 72 hours. The states are Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Goa, Chhattisgarh, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. The Met Department has predicted heavy to very heavy rainfalls with extremely heavy rainfall in East Rajasthan, West Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Konkan, Goa coastal and Ghat areas of South Interior Karnataka. Due to this rainfall, Mahi, Sabarmati, Banas, Godavari and Krishna, Tapi, Kaveri rivers and their tributaries are likely to rise and create low to moderate floods. Meanwhile, the flood situation in Bihar remained mostly unchanged, with 32 more deaths, taking the death toll to 514. 1.71 crore people in 19 districts are still affected. Water receded in some places, following which many people returned to their homes. The number of relief camps further dropped to 115 from 222. The Bihar government, on the other hand, has released 1,935 crore rupees to undertake relief operations. The decision was taken in the state cabinet chaired by Chief Minister Nitish Kumar. As per the reports, 45 trains will be cancelled today and tomorrow due to the floods. Train services between the north, east and rest of the country via Bihar are likely to normalize from 3rd of September. The government has announced that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit China for the upcoming BRICS summit in the first week of September. Along with China, Modi will also visit Myanmar for the bilateral summit with the Myanmarese government. Meanwhile, Bhutan has welcomed the developments at Doklam and has expressed hope that such incidents will not be repeated.
A day after India and Chinese ended the troop standoff on the Doklam border, the government on Tuesday announced that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will attend the BRICS summit in Xiamen on September 3rd. The Prime Minister will also have bilateral meetings with all member countries. The message indicates the government is happy at the manner in which the Doklam episode ended. Sending out the right signals, China has stopped road construction near the Doklam disputed area.
We have maintained our grace and we followed a mature diplomatic route to resolve the issue. At the same time, we maintained a firm ground posture also. So it's a combination of a firm ground posturing and a mature diplomatic endeavor that has brought about this welcome thing.
为了手边需要和改善当地居民的生产生活条件，中方长期以来在洞朗区进行包括道路在内的基础设施建设。我们将综合考虑天气等各方面因素，根据实际情况。
The Bhutan government, that was being bullied by the Chinese army in Doklam, also expressed relief. In a measured statement, Bhutan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs welcomed the withdrawal of the Chinese troops from its border. Bhutan said it hopes the end of the standoff contributes to the maintenance of peace and tranquility and status quo along the borders of Bhutan, China and India, in keeping with the existing agreements between the respective countries.
The Bhutanese government showed a lot of courage and restraint and a great deal of maturity under a lot of stress. any statement beyond the initial statement that the Bhutanese made, which highlighted their concerns and their case, their basis. Since then, any statement that the Bhutanese government would have issued would have put them in a more difficult situation vis-a-vis both India and China.
The Prime Minister's visit to China is significant as this BRICS summit is being held after last year's Goa summit. The continuation of the standoff would have been difficult for Prime Minister Modi to take part in the Xiamen summit. At the last G20 summit in Germany, China denied formal meetings between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping. This time around, it's China that's come up with a request for a bilateral meeting.
The type of confrontation off and on China picks up against India is against the spirit of BRICS. Doklam was the flashpoint, and it has shown the mirror that BRICS cannot survive if such confrontations goes on. It is better that China and other BRICS countries understand this reality. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Sudhanshu in Delhi.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday inaugurated several infrastructural projects worth over 15,000 crore rupees in Rajasthan's Udaipur district. Modi inaugurated 11 completed national highway projects and laid foundation for 6 national highway projects covering a distance of about 556 kilometers. The projects included a 6-lane cable-stayed bridge across the river Chambal at Kota. Addressing a public rally in Udaipur, Prime Minister said, India will reach newer heights only with better infrastructure, railways and roads. He also assured that the centre will stand by the flood-affected people of the state. Ahead of the inauguration, Prime Minister also visited an exhibition on national highways.
हमें काम करना है, समय सीमा में काम करना है और इसलिए एक साथ योजना बना करके 9,000 करोड़ रुपयों से ज्यादा लागत से नए कामों का आज शिलान्यास हो रहा है। और जब इतनी बड़ी जनमेदनी के सामने कार्यक्रमों की बात करते हैं तो पूरा करने के संकल्प के साथ करते हैं और मैं राजस्थान की धरती को विश्वास दिलाता हूं कि ये करके रहेंगे और राजस्थान की काया पलट होके रहेगी।
On to some more news, 6 MPs including 5 from All India Trinamool Congress and 1 from Congress took oath as Rajya Sabha members on Tuesday. Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu administered the oath of office to the newly elected members from West Bengal. Deputy Chairman P.J. Kurian, Leader of the House Arun Jaitley and MOS Parliamentary Affairs Minister were also present on the occasion. 5 of them took oath in Bengali. 1 of them from AITC, Shanta Chetri, took oath in Nepalese.
We want to say a very special thank you to the Honorable Vice President and Chairman of Rajya Sabha, Venkaiah ji. Thank you for being here. Special thank you also to our Deputy Chairman for being here, Professor Kurian. And we're also very honored and happy and privileged that the Leader of the House, Arun ji, is here with us.
We extend our heartfelt congratulations to Sri Venkaiah Naidu ji for being elected as the Honorable Vice President of India and also the Chairman of Rajya Sabha. Thank you so much.
And Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has said that the taxes worth 92,283 crore rupees were collected in July from just 64.42% of the total taxpayer base. He also said that tax collections for the first month, when a unified goods and services tax was implemented across the country, are likely to go up when all the taxpayers file their returns. The collections so far are in excess of the Finance Ministry's internal estimate of 91,000 crore rupees. So far, 38.38 lakh taxpayers who had registered in July have filed their returns. As per registration, 59.57 lakh businessmen should file returns for July.
If we take the total amount of tax which has come in till 10 a.m. today morning, that is GST, it is 92,283 crores. So it is 283 crores. This includes a CGST revenue of 14,894 crores, SGST revenue of 22,722 crores. An IGST revenue of 47,469. And out of this 47,469, the IGST from imports is 20,964. Now, in this 92,283 also included is the compensation cess.
And with that, time for a very short break. More news and updates on the other side. Stay with us.
The story we thought we knew. The story of magnificence. The story of bloody battles. Of those who ruled and those who left their footprints. The story charting the course of our past. Talking history on Rajya Sabha TV.
Swiss President Doris Leuthard will be in a 3-day visit to India from today. She will hold extensive talks with the leaders here on an entire gamut of bilateral relationships, including ways to ramp up trade and investment ties. The Swiss President will meet her Indian counterpart, Ram Nath Kovind, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, and hold talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. She is also likely to meet members of the Union Cabinet separately. During the talks, India is likely to raise the issue of the black money stashed by Indians in Swiss banks. Leuthard will be accompanied by her senior government officials and a large business delegations of leading Swiss companies. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had visited Switzerland in last year. The battle for supremacy in the AIADMK reached the Election Commission's doors on Tuesday. The Dinakaran faction filed a caveat before the Election Commission that it should be heard before the poll panel body decides on any plea to be submitted by the Paneerselvam Palaniswamy faction. The petition said that V.K. Sasikala and TTV Dinakaran, belonging to the AIADMK's Amma faction, should be heard in the case first. Leaders of the merged group met in Delhi to approach the Election Commission, they will be meeting today, seeking recognition as the real AIADMK and the two-leaf symbol for it.
So we submitted the memorandum, and also we mentioned the memorandum very clear. When any merger or something, they come and approach this the applicant along with some few ministers or whatever may be, then immediately you have to call and hear our opinion also from our side.
And on to the latest from Darjeeling. As the West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee held talks on Monday with the Hill parties, she requested them to withdraw the indefinite shutdown. After the meeting, GJM convener Binay Tamang said any decision on the shutdown would be decided at a meeting of the GJM Central Committee to be convened in Darjeeling. Besides Gorkha Janmukti Morcha, major political parties in the hills like Gorkha National Liberation Front and Jan Andolan Party participated in the dialogue. Banerjee later said that the talks were cordial and positive, though she rejected demands for a separate Gorkha land. She also informed that next meeting will be held on 12th of September.
And we will again meet 2nd week of September, 12th September at Uttar Konna at 3 p.m. North Bengal. This will be nearest place for them also. And with this, I can tell you that our discussion is very good. Everybody raised their voice.
All parties share this sentiment and aspiration are united on this issue. उसके बाद में और एक बात हम लोग ने यहाँ पर रखा है वो है the GJM desires a lasting and permanent solution.
अभी तक जितना भी अरेंजमेंट स्वायत्त शासन के नाम पर हुई वहां से जनता संतुष्ट नहीं है क्योंकि जितनी डेवलपमेंट होनी चाहिए थी उस हिसाब से डेवलपमेंट नहीं हुआ है जिसकी वजह से बार-बार ये सेपरेटिस्ट की मांग उठ रही है.
Now the news from the international front. Tropical storm Harvey continued to batter Texas with rains and floods, leaving at least 20 people dead and submerged homes and turning streets highways into lakes. Houston has declared a nighttime curfew as it battles the impact of Hurricane Harvey. Thousands of emergency rescue teams officials remained on their toes, helping people affected by the deluge. Weather officials said that parts of the state are expected to receive rainfall again. Authorities warned that more than 30,000 people across the region could be forced from their homes when the skies clear later this week. Harder hit in the coming days will be the countries further east, including those along the Texas-Louisiana border, likely to be inundated with up to 15 more inches of rainfall. Houston, the fourth largest city in the U.S. and the most populous in Texas, was still conducting emergency operations after Hurricane Harvey, a Category 4 storm, made landfall on Friday night. President Donald Trump and the First Lady Melania visited Texas to show their support to the storm-ravaged people. More than 1 lakh Indian Americans living in and around Houston have also been badly affected by the monstrous hurricane. Over 200 Indian students stranded in their homes had to run for food. They have been rescued by the Indian consulate.
The sad thing is that this is long-term. Nobody's ever seen anything this long, and nobody's ever seen this much water in particular. The wind was pretty horrific, but the water has never been seen like this to the extent. And it's maybe someday going to disappear. We keep waiting. We have four of our great congressmen right here, and we really appreciate you being here. We're going to be working with Congress on helping out the state of Texas. It's going to be a costly proposition because, again, probably Ted Cruz is here, and Senator, thank you very much, Senator Cornyn, and we'll be working with these characters over here, and I think we'll come through with a really, with the right solution. But probably there's never been anything so expensive in our country's history. There's never been anything so historic in terms of damage and in terms of ferocity as what we've witnessed with Harvey.
US and the world is weighing what to do next on North Korea after the country's latest missile launch that flew over Japan. US President Donald Trump says that the launch signaled the regime's contempt for its neighbors and the UN, adding that all options were on the table. However, North Korea's aggressive attitude continues. It insists that launch was a direct response to the US-South Korean joint military drills and a meaningful prelude to containing Guam, a US overseas territory that Kim has previously threatened.
What happened yesterday is absolutely unacceptable and irresponsible. No country should have missiles flying over them like those 130 million people in Japan. It's unacceptable. They have violated every single UN Security Council resolution that we've had. And so I think something serious has to happen.
The US and its allies continue to look for ways to contain North Korea's belligerence. This after the regime's latest launch of an intermediate-range ballistic missile over Japan. North Korean news agencies said that the launch was a prelude to more military options aimed at Guam, with more launches planned in the future. It added that the launch was to counter the ongoing US and South Korean military drills.
It is an undeniable fact that US is driving the station of Korean Peninsula towards extreme level of explosion by deploying huge strategic assets around the peninsula to conduct series of nuclear war drills and maintaining nuclear threats and blackmail for over a half-century.
On Tuesday, United Nations Security Council met to discuss the latest launch, condemning it as outrageous. Secretary Antonio Guterres said that the launch undermined regional security and stability.
The Security Council came together unanimously to support the increased sanctions resolution 2371, and I hope that all of my colleagues will come together with the same spirit of unity to respond today as unitedly and firmly as we did then.
While US President Donald Trump continues to warn Pyongyang that all options were on the table, Russia and China cited the joint US-South Korean military drills as the source of the latest tensions. Russia further warned that the use of force was a path to nowhere, a path to catastrophe.
Look, we appreciate the very strong support that President Trump is showing to Japan. and we appreciate the fact that he said every option is on the table.
中方敦促有关各方呢，不要再做相互刺激、加剧地区局势紧张的事情。我们希望各方呢都要保持克制。
Pyongyang has conducted a flurry of missile tests recently, but this is the first time it has fired what is thought to be a ballistic weapon over Japan. As the missile soared over Hokkaido Island, Japanese authorities issued a safety warning, urging citizens to shelter in a study building or basement. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe called the missile launch an unprecedented threat to his country. The launch comes just over 2 weeks after North Korea threatened to fire a series of missiles in the waters around the US Pacific territory of Guam. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
On to some more news. President Ram Nath Kovind presented the National Sports Awards at Rashtrapati Bhavan on Tuesday. The awards included Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna, Arjuna, Dronacharya, Dhyan Chand, Tenzing Norgay National Adventure Award 2017 and Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad Trophy. The Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna was conferred to para-athlete Devendra Jhajharia and former hockey captain Sardar Singh, while Arjuna Awards were presented to 17 sports persons, including cricketers Harmanpreet Kaur and Chiteshwar Pujara, boxer Leshram Devendra Singh, footballer Oinam Bim Devi, golfer SSP Chaurasia and para-athlete Mariappan. The Dronacharya Awards were also given to 7 coaches. Apart from a medal and a citation, the Khel Ratna awardee received a cash prize of 7.5 lakh rupees, while Arjuna, Dronacharya and Dhyan Chand awardees received statues, certificates and cash prize of 5 lakh rupees each. Ace Indian boxer Gaurav Bidhuri has reached the semi-finals at the World Boxing Championships at Hamburg. Bidhuri became the 4th Indian boxer to secure a medal at the tournament. He beat Tunisia's Bilal Mahmoudi in the 56 kilograms category. Bidhuri became the 2nd person from the country to do so in his debut World Championship. The only other Indian to have achieved the feat was Vikash Krishan in the year 2011. Former world number 1 and succeeded Angelique Kerber has been knocked out in the first round at Flushing Meadows in New York. Germany's Kerber was defeated by Japan's Naomi Osaka 6-3, 6-1. The world number 1 seed in the women's draw, Karolina Pliskova, comfortably won her match against Magda Linnet, the match on an ace. In the men's singles, top-seeded Rafael Nadal won the first match of the tournament, defeating Serbian Dusan Lajovic 7-6, 6-2, 6-2. With this victory, the 2-time US Open champion assured that Roger Federer has to reach the semi-finals for a chance to regain the world number 1 ranking. And that's all we have for you in this edition of Breakfast News. Keep watching Rajya Sabha Television.